So we're just going to look at a couple of examples of where Jesus does these things, which is clearly God's stuff, the things that people can't do, and knowing the things that people can't know, that help people to see the gloriousness of the beast and a demon, and it's, it's anyone's match there. It's pretty evenly matched. It's a battle on both sides. But when we see this situation where, I don't know if you picked it, but where it mentions his name is Legion, for we are many. A legion is not 10 or 20. We're talking 1,000 to 2,000 demons in one man. Can you imagine what that man must have been like? 2,000 demons. What would he sounded like? What would he have been like? What we do know from the passage is that he was irrepressible. They couldn't bind him. They put ropes on him and he broke them. They put chains on him and he broke the chains. And this guy's idea of a good time was cutting himself and screaming at the moon in a graveyard. This is the kind of guy everyone in the province would have known him and kept a very good distance from. They couldn't control him, and he was a fearsome sight. And yet when Jesus meets him, it's game over. Legion hits the deck and starts begging, please, please, have you come to take us to the pit? Please send us into the pigs. And Jesus casts them out into the pigs. 2,000 pigs run off into the water and drown. And that's right about the time where, if it was some legendary story, again, you would expect the crowds to come and cheer, whoa, bravo, Jesus, you saved the day. But that's not what happened. The pig herders run home and tell the town. The locals come out, and do you remember what they do? They beg Jesus to leave. Now, interestingly, the passage doesn't really tell us why they did that. Maybe it was simply, well, Jesus met a demon-possessed, and we just lost 2,000 pigs. He might meet another demon-possessed. We might lose all our chickens as well. I don't know. It looks like Jesus could be that he's bad for business. But it could be also like you see with Peter in the boat when they pull in that huge haul of fish and he realizes this isn't just a man. And he says, go away from me, I'm a sinful man. Maybe it's that, we don't know. But then to top it off, right about when we've got the possessed man is in his right mind and he asks to follow. And Jesus says, no, go into the towns and share what's happened. Now, can you imagine being in this town? You imagine you're in the market and you're picking up, you've got your oranges and your bananas, and then you turn around and there's that guy who had 2,000. I think you would drop whatever you had in your hand and he would have to say, hey, stop, it's okay. I met Jesus. What a difference. He's going around sharing this stuff and it's impacting the world. And we've only just looked at two little proofs there. And I reckon these...
Hey, welcome back. Another service at an end. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, welcome back. Another service at an end. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We feel so privileged that you would spend this time with us.
We can't verify that there was a storm that Jesus calmed, or we can't verify that Jesus cast demons out of a man. Well, we do have the testimony of the disciples. We do have the scriptures, which is what they wrote. And as I said, they're powerfully written so authentically. They just don't have any of the markings of something that's been made up. Everything contrary to that they were people, this is the real story. You wouldn't tell it this way if it weren't that. And that these disciples, well, they backed it up with their life. If you read history, that virtually all of the disciples, all of the apostles, as well as many of the disciples, were arrested, tortured, and executed. And you wouldn't lie to get yourself into trouble, would you? You would lie to get yourself out of trouble, not to get yourself into trouble. The only logical conclusion, I think, that makes sense is that they were convinced to death that this was God in the flesh, and they were willing to follow him to death because of that. And I love that on our calendars, we can almost forget it. It's 2025. It's 2025 years since God stepped on our turf. Now, what other religion can say that? There isn't. We have a God who came and met us in our world, in our time, and he left his mark. The whole world knows it. There's no doubt about it. We do have proof, and we should be proud of it. And what we see in the scriptures is that the disciples who were in the boat with him, they saw him do these things, and eventually they got it. Jesus was going around, and we see when he was healing people, sometimes from morning until night, sun up till sundown, he's healing people and casting out demons left, right, and center. Jesus was doing God stuff for breakfast. And as it's happening in such abundance, the disciples got it, the healed got it, the forgiven got it, the people who had demons cast out, they got it. And the best thing is, we're here because we got it. And it's the best thing we can share because it's how salvation came to us. God came to visit us and he offers us salvation through Jesus. It's the greatest gift that we can have at Christmas, and it's the greatest gift that we can share at Christmas. Have you ever heard people say at Christmas time, oh, well, it's, Christmas is all about family, really? Well, it kind of is and it isn't. I put it to you that Christmas is not just about your family at all. It's about God's family. That makes all the difference. I put it to you that the Christmas story is very personal. I wonder if we could skip to the next slide. That's it. Thank you. So these two guys here, this is Randy is the closer one, Gary is the further one. And Randy had just started working at a furniture company as a removalist, as a delivery guy delivering furniture. And every job they would go to, Randy being the new guy, was following Gary around, and they'd go and deliver furniture. And the customers would frequently say, because they were similar stature, short, stocky, similar hair colour, similar laugh, similar walk, these guys would be saying, are you guys brothers or what? And every day we'd finish with them, no, we're no relation. We just met each other just the other day. And after it went on for a month, they were hopping back in the truck, and Gary says he just clicked. He hops in the truck and says, Randy, I want to ask you a really strange question. Any chance you were adopted? Randy says, yeah, I was. Why? What about it? Gary says, any chance you know your birth parents? Randy says, yeah, I do. What's it to you? Gary's, are your birth parents Wilfred and Joan Pomeroy? Randy gives a long stare and says, how do you know my birth parents' names? Gary says, because they're also my birth parents' names. And can you imagine? These guys were shell-shocked. They were just absolutely staggering stuff to find out. They went back to work and they shared at work. They realised, it dawned on them, they were mates, but now they were family. And they started celebrating Thanksgiving together. They had Christmas together. They shared, and even their workmates, some of them were in tears at the news. They were like, well, these guys are such lovely guys, and it's so great that after all these years, they found each other. Something I think a lot of us, not being orphans, might not realise, but these guys, for their whole lives, they're in their late 30s at the time in 2009. They would have regularly wondered, I wonder if I have siblings. I wonder what my parents are like. I wonder what they're doing right now, And to find they're sitting in the truck together. What a wonderful surprise. I put it to you that on the very first Christmas, Jesus came searching for you as a brother. He invites you to be family. He came doing all these amazing things, walking on water, casting out demons, healing the sick, dying for our sin. and rising again victorious. Christmas is a day when he left heaven for you. He wants to introduce you to his Father. He wants us to join him this Christmas because Christmas is about Jesus and his family. In verse 11 that we read earlier, it says that the word he came to his own people and even they rejected him. But to all who believed and accepted him, he gave the right to become children of God. When you put it in perspective, rejection is, Jesus takes it very personally. To leave heaven for us, to come as a brother for us, to die and come back for us. Rejection is very serious. But I love how it's presented to us, how equally acceptance is really serious. We don't just get absolved, but we become children of God. We become family. It's incredibly precious. We're invited at Christmas to behold your brother and to look up to God and behold your Father. Verse 18 says this, "No one has ever seen God, but the unique one, who is himself God, is near to the Father's heart. He has revealed God to us." The one nearest to his Father's heart, the one who was there through all creation, face to face with God. He's the one who came and left heaven to share him with us. He knows how wonderful he is. And he's shared the Father with us. And it's up to us to share him. It's up to us to share that truth elsewhere. So I put it to you, don't miss the warmest invitation this Christmas. The invitation from God himself to celebrate with him. I have three applications. I think the number one thing we should do with all of this is the good news, isn't it? Christmas is the beginning of the good news. And so the most natural thing and right thing is to begin with praise and worship and celebrate that God would see me, warts and all, and still want me and still love me and come for me. That's the good news. And second of all is we can get on board at our church. I love it at Christmas that we can celebrate together as one body. But I dearly hope that we don't have any believer in our midst who might not have anyone to celebrate with. Christmas is a wonderful time to celebrate with brothers and sisters, but it can be quite saddening to be all on your own. So put it to you this Christmas, do you have a chair spare in your home where you might be able to invite someone? Give people a nudge and check in and make sure that no one's doing Christmas alone. Because among brothers and sisters, if blood is thicker than water, then surely the blood of Christ is the thickest of all, isn't it? And it should challenge us to stretch out and reach out. And I reckon we'd do God proud, don't you? And finally, get on board with sharing the light in our community. Just prayerfully think, as you're writing cards at this time of year, how you can write a card that presents the gospel. Or people you might be able to invite. Even, is there a spare seat in your car on the way to Christmas carols? Think of people you might be able to invite. We have all the reason for the season, and we can do it proudly and in a Christian way. And there's so many people that are missing it, but we might just be that bridge. We are about to lead into communion, and there's one last thing that I haven't mentioned that Jesus did in coming in flesh. The reason it's so important that he wasn't just a hologram who visited us and came among us. It was so important that he came in flesh and blood. You know why? So he could suffer. He had hands so he could feel the nails. He had a beard so they could strip it off him. He had a head so he could wear a crown of thorns. A back so he could have the flesh ripped off it. A face that was face to face with the Father that came to earth to be spat on. He paid a tremendous price for us. So as you receive, if you would move to the stations and collect the elements, eat the bread in your own time and hold the cup so we can worship together, but think of the cost that Christ paid for the love of you. Please come forward.